Welcome to Talk FCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys. Today is the match preview between Barcelona and Rayo Vallecano, and there's just 12 games to go now in the La Liga season. We are getting now to breaking point. We're on top, we're leading as it stands right now, 7 points clear at the top of the La Liga table. Will we maintain that lead this weekend with, of course, in the back of our minds, that Champions League game against Lyon? And most importantly, will Ernesto Valverde find that balance between playing quite a strong team here, but also making sure those key players are nicely rotated for that Lyon game? We are going to be discussing all of that and more. Strap yourselves in. Let's do this. Kickoff will be coming to us from the camp now at 6:30 p.m. local time. More of an early evening game this weekend on Saturday in La Liga. And here, as always, guys, are the times right around the world where you are to watch this one. And you have been predicting in your numbers, with over half of you opting for a win tomorrow by 3+ goals, even with possible rotation. You guys against Rayo Vallecano, who are struggling right now, you are confident. And elsewhere in La Liga this weekend, Atletico Madrid will be taking on mid-table Leganes in the game before ours on Saturday afternoon, and that one there could be quite a tricky encounter, especially when you consider Atletico's mind is going to be very similar to ours. They played the day before us on Tuesday in the Champions League against Juventus. Their mind is going to be on that game, and for that reason, that could be a potential banana skin there for Atletico Madrid, whereas Real Madrid, who are deep in crisis right now, absolutely in turmoil at Real Madrid. Florentino Perez arguing with every single member of their squad. They might even go through 3 managers in one season, and I actually think here, going away to Valladolid, they're going to be so thankful to get away from the Bernabeu. And when you take a look here at the La Liga table, like I said earlier on, 7 points clear there at the top, away from Atletico Madrid, and 12 points ahead of Real Madrid, especially when you look there at that lead. 7 points clear Atletico, who, like I say, might already have their mind on that Champions League game against Juve, and I think we also have to prioritise the Champions League here. 12 games to go, we've got a healthy lead against struggling opposition. This is the opportunity now to rotate some players. We have to see some serious rotation. And I'm not saying here the league is wrapped up or anything like that. All I'm saying is we have Champions League commitments. There will be times we've got to go all out in the league. We've got to be ruthless. We've got to go through the rest of our games with a lot of intensity. But right now, this isn't one of them. Right now, you can afford here to rotate in this game and focus on that season-defining game, second leg against Lyon in the Champions League. We're nicely clear at the top, and we're up against a side in Rayo Vallecano here. Are no doubt about it, they're struggling. 19th place in La Liga this season. They have just 23 points from their 26 matches so far this season, and it actually gets worse than that for Rayo, who have the second worst defence in La Liga this season, with a massive 45 goals conceded in the league. And just to really top it all off for them, they have lost their last 5 games in La Liga, 5 straight defeats, and not a single point picked up in the league since January. So we are facing a team here that's badly out of form and seriously low on confidence. But as I say, in every game that we ever play, don't take your opposition for granted. Don't take anything lightly. You've still got to go into this game working hard. Rayo are 19th, and for good reason. They haven't been good. You look at those 5 straight defeats, they're certainly low on confidence. But at the same time, they have been narrow defeats. They've been very, very tight games by 1-goal margins a lot of the time. And Rayo here are still going to come and try and cause a shock, and they're going to give everything to do that. But at the same time, you still feel as though Barcelona, even when you rotate, we've still got the quality here to see off somebody like Rayo Vallecano. I'd make a lot of changes, but that doesn't mean that we're going to drop our level. That doesn't mean here that we're going to forfeit this game. We can still win this game, even by rotating. You've got players coming into this team who cost a lot of money. We've spent a lot of money on our squad depth. That's when you've got to see this now. You've got to have players here coming into this game wanting to prove something, wanting to show Ernesto Valverde why they should be playing a lot more often. That's what we have to see tomorrow. We've got to see a team of hungry players determined to make their mark, trying to cause an impression ahead of that Lyon game. And in this match here, we have to rotate. But believe me, we can still win. And certainly when you look at the recent head-to-head record against Rayo Vallecano from Barcelona's perspective, there will certainly be a lot of optimism right there too. Simply because we haven't dropped a single point in the league against Rayo Vallecano until 2002, both home and away. Since then, we have been dominant. 12 meetings since that time. Barcelona with 12 wins. We've won on every single occasion, and we haven't only won, we have scored in those 12 games 52 goals. That is massive. That is colossal. That is a lot of goals right there in just 12 games. An average of over 4 goals per game in our favour. We are confident here, but we must see rotation. But having said that, we do now move on to the official squad list. And what you will notice here is not really a lot of players who possibly you may have expected to see. Ter Stegen, Semedo, Piqué, Rakitic, Busquets, Coutinho, Arthur, Suarez, Messi, Dembele, Silesen, Malcolm, Murillo, Alba, Roberto, Alenia, Arturo Vidal, and Samuel Umtiti. In that squad there, no Kevin Prince Boateng. Once again, somebody who we believe to be brought in as a backup player, somebody to give Suarez some rest, not in the squad after his poor performance in the Supercopa de Catalunya against Girona. But I would still rest Suarez, and I would certainly here rest a lot more of those players. In that team, no Barcelona B players, no Juan Miranda. That's very, very significant. But we can still rotate. Don't worry about that, because here is the team that I believe we should be seeing. And so, here is the team that I would play to face Rayo tomorrow at the Camp Nou. And look, it would have to be a brave decision from Ernesto Valverde to do this, but at the end of the day, with that Champions League goal in mind, you've got to be brave. You have to understand which games you rotate in and which games you play your best team. This one is an opportunity to rest some players, so look, let's go and do that. Right here, you would be resting effectively 8 first-team players, but still, you look at that team there and you see quality. You see a lot of money, you see players who are very, very good, and certainly this team can still beat Rayo. Silesen in goal, we know he's top quality. You rest Ter Stegen, you play Silesen, really, he's a fantastic keeper. The only player here is Jordi Alba, simply because no Juan Miranda, not even Thomas Vermaelen, either of those players could have slotted in at left back, neither of them in the squad, and for that reason, I think really here, we have to probably start with Jordi Alba, but if we're winning, I would take him off, wrap him in cotton wool, do whatever you want, just make sure he is available for that Lyon game on Tuesday. Semedo here at right back, simply because I think Ernesto Valverde is going to stick with Sergio Roberto in the Champions League. So Semedo here on the right-hand side against Rayo, link it up with Dembele. That could be very special indeed at the Camp Nou. Murillo and Umtiti here at centre-back, two players who started in the Supercopa de Catalunya in midweek. They played well together, they understood each other, both look very solid. Important minutes here for Samuel Umtiti to replace Clement Longley, who is suspended, and Gerard Piqué here getting a much-needed rest for Jason Murillo. Now, this midfield is very interesting and also very flexible, because what you have here in the strike force is no recognised centre-forward. So what I've done here in midfield is made it attack-minded and basically full of two players there in Vidal and also Carlos Alenia who can make those runs. They can certainly get into those areas, take up that space, and that midfield there is very flexible. When Vidal goes forward, makes a run, you know that Arthur Melo can quite easily here drop into this holding role, drop between the two centre-backs, bring the ball out and give us that control. He needs some much-needed minutes after, of course, he got injured. He returned against Real Madrid, but these minutes will be vital to Arthur Melo. Vidal, of course, showed his quality against Real, and much-needed minutes as well for Carlos Alenia. Very, very promising player there in midfield. And you look at this strike force. Coutinho from the left, Malcolm down the centre, Ousmane Dembele from the right. There is a lot of money there. There's a lot of money and there's a lot of quality. Those three, flexible, versatile, certainly players. Coutinho can help midfield here when he needs to. He can get forward, he can take shots on goal, he can score, he can create. The same goes for Dembele, link it up with Semedo on this right-hand side. Much quality there, a lot of talent there from Dembele. And Malcolm, he can operate here, he can make those runs, he can drop in when he needs to, he's good on the ball. And when you look at it there, that team, those kind of players, those characteristics, and certainly in that sort of shape and that desire, certainly at the Camp Nou with that big pitch, you can use those players to your advantage. And these players here can beat Rayo Vallecano. They certainly can. You can rotate 8 first-team players there. Ter Stegen, Piqué, Longley, Roberto, Busquets, Rakitic, Messi, Suarez, all of them rested. Put them on the bench. If you need them, you can bring them on. But start like this. Rest those guys. Think about Lyon. Think about the bigger picture. But still, we can beat Rayo. And so, with that in mind, guys, I'm going to go here with a score prediction of Barcelona 3, Rayo Vallecano 1 at the Camp Nou. I think possibly we might concede a goal, maybe even 2, but I still think those kind of players, those attack-minded qualities, very, very versatile, flexible, they can score goals and cause problems at our home stadium. No doubt about that. All guns blazing right now against Rayo. Win this game with a rotated side, and then on to the big one against Lyon, where failure is simply not an option. Please leave your predictions and, of course, all of your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. I will see you tomorrow for the big game itself. Thank you, as always, for joining me. But until then, as always, Visca El Barça!